War rages across the mortal realms. New alliances are formed while others lie shattered, and the dominant powers ever seek their next conquest. As these two powerful forces prepare to clash, only one will rise victorious when the dust settles. While this and countless other battles rage on, one fact is becoming clear. The season of war has begun. This video is brought to you by the support of our channel members and the FLGS Partners, Warfire Minis, and X-Planet. Looking for a painting commission? Check out artwstudio.com.
Hello and welcome to Season of War! Today we are excited to bring you another game of Age of Sigmar, the long-awaited, much-requested, triumphant return of Carl's Kharadron Overlords.
With a special guest.
With a special guest. Carl, you've obviously been doing super well with these recently, if you've been paying attention to the channel and our recaps at all. 4-1, 5-0, so 9-1 in the last two GTs with this.
Yeah.
Basically this build. Minor changes with like artifacts and whatnot.
One thing changed.
Yeah. So very excited to see this build on the channel and trying to showcase it and what you've been doing well with KO. And to face off against it today is my Idoneth Deepkin Namardi party, similar to a list. I went 5-0 with at a GT with kind of one minor change or one notable change. Also featuring the Incarnate because
it's very, very good.
They're good pieces that complement armies and kind of unlock different play styles.
Yep. For sure.
But just jumping into things, always got to start off by giving a huge shout out to our premium members. If you enjoy our content, please consider joining our membership. It's really the most impactful way to support the channel. It means a lot, gets you extra content into our Discord and a bunch of other stuff. So I just wanted to invite you, if you enjoy our content and to join our membership. Thank you in advance. And otherwise, playing on one of our new tables that we built for the GT, so excited about getting all this printable scenery stuff painted up. And otherwise, the mission we're playing today is In the Presence of Idols. So this is 3 objectives, hold 1, 2 more, and then we each choose 3 idol units. Can't be the Incarnates because of the FAQ. And we get a bonus point if we kill an idol with an idol.
Correct.
And then it also reduces our battle shot casualties if we flee near an idol. Very forgettable footnote.
Yes.
Otherwise though, Carl, why don't you take us through your KO list?
Sure. So if, again, like Jordan was saying, if you're familiar with the channel, in the recaps, this is a very familiar list. It's a high drop KO, 10 drops, featuring a trio of heroes, the Admiral, who's just so good right now with the Arcane Tome, the Navigator, who's great against flying units, and the Chemist, who has Spell on the Bottle. And obviously I'm taking Purple Sun with that because it's just so good with KO. Moving on from that, I have 3 units of 10 Arcanauts, which are all in Conquerors. KO has a notorious reputation for not being able to take objectives, and this shores up their weakness in that front. Then I have 2 boats. I have the Ironclad, which has the last word, so basically double Unleash Hell, and the Grunstock Gun Hauler, which the first time it charges does D6 mortal wounds, which is very good. Rounding off my list is 10 Thunders with all rifles, because I like the extra range as opposed to the extra damage that the special weapons give you. Then, like Jordan said before, I have an Incarnate who's bonded to the Admiral.
Perfect. Notoriously, Idoneth were always a big weakness for KO, but between the edition changes, KO updates, and then the new Idoneth book, I don't feel like that's as polarizing of a matchup. So it'll be interesting here today to see how it goes. And just to jump into my list then, I am running Morphon. This is giving my Soul Render 3 plus D3 bodies to return with his ability at the end of each battle shock phase. So it really helps me with the resiliency. I actually had this list built just before the new GHB and kind of like, it's super Namardi heavy. Got super disappointed as soon as the new book dropped and I saw Bounty Hunters. But I'm trying to make it work anyways and still play with it and see how it goes. My notable change from the GT was dropping a unit of 10 Thralls and my Soul Strier For the Achillean King, Smash King loadout here is my general, and also loses me my Deep Strike, which actually really hurts me in a lot of ways, but still figuring out if it's still playable in this
gives you a massive
capacity.
hammer.
Yeah. Yes, that's the trade-off. But otherwise, I have a big unit of 30 Thralls. I got 20 Reavers and then 2 blocks of 10 Reavers. One of them's in the boat right now, off the table. Just have the unit leader here to notify that. My Achillean King, as I mentioned, or Achillean Queen, because I'm a narrative player now, always have been. And then I have my Soul Render and Lotan, another converted hero that is just there for the +1 to wound aura. Only works in combat. And then I have the Incarnate as well, bonded to my Achillean King with the Arcane Tome, given that +1 is just nice.
Exactly the same as my Admiral.
Yeah,
with
it's
a
worth doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much everything. I was a 1-drop here, opposite kind of mentality as Carl. Often this matchup isn't a big deal, but often, well, it could be actually. Often I want to give away first so that I don't get doubled.
Yep.
That's like the big thing with Deepkin, and being able to recur the models is very helpful. So with that, I do have choice, and unsurprisingly, Carl, I'm going to be giving away the turn, letting you go first.
Yeah.
So
which is how I built the list.
Yeah.
It operates with the assumption that you're going first.
Yeah.
Because I'm 10-drop and most people don't want to get doubled by KO.
Yeah.
With that being said, you were the attacker, so you get to choose your idols first.
Yep.
Then I get to choose.
No
It's
surprise
very
here.
easy.
Yeah, 30 Thralls, 20 Reavers, and my Achillean King.
Yeah. So mine will be my Ironclad, the 10 Thunderers, and my Admiral.
Nice.
And with that being said, now that we've determined who goes first, the Admiral gets to choose his special thing, and it's, I think, no surprise to you, it'll be the 2+ turn off the ward.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And mine is going to be, I get to pick my ritual. It's going to be the ward save on round 3 for all my Namarti.
Yep. Which is very, very good.
Very solid. But yeah, that's pretty much everything right now.
Yep.
So we'll jump into
KO
Kharadron
turn
Overlords. Yep, turn 1.
The Kharadron battle tactic is against the odds. The Admiral uses heroic leadership, which the Achillean King fails. The Admiral miscasts Mystic Shield and takes 3 mortal wounds. The Ether Chemist uses Etheric Augmentation on the Thunderers. The Ironclad uses There's Always a Breeze If You Look For It to fly high. The Ether Chemist uses Spell in a Bottle to release the Purple Sun of Shaiish. The Purple Sun rolls a 1 and takes the Incarnate down a level. The gun hauler deals no damage. The Thunderers use all-out attack and an Aether Gold for Inspired, dealing 15 damage to the Incarnate. The Reavers use all-out defense and the Ironclad deal 2 damage to them. The Incarnate goes down another level and is destroyed. The Soul Render returns 2 Reavers with its Lure Light. The Kharadron score 2 and more objectives and completes their battle tactic for 5 points.
So KO turn 1. I made a deployment error putting my my Ironclad in the corner. I was gonna play a safer game, I was telling myself. So what I wanted to do was put the Ironclad, because I knew where your whole army was, within 36 of the Incarnate. If I roll the 3 up from the Navigator, then I can play a very far game where I just shoot from a far distance and then try to take the Incarnate down and then jump in maybe in the later turns.
Yep.
But I messed up, deployed in the corner like KO usually does.
Yeah.
So I was like, the Incarnate's going to take so much board space, the King's going to take so much board space, so I just decided to go for it. I flew high, dropped the Purple Sun, and depending on what the outcome is with the Purple Sun, I was going to fade backwards anyways. And I lucked out and rolled the 1, and the Incarnate went down a level, and then that
was huge.
Yeah.
He instantly goes down a level, meaning if
I
you
can
shoot
kill
at
him in 1 turn. Yeah. So you did try to eat the Purple Sun, which I wasn't anticipating,
Yes.
which would have
brought him back up to level 2.
Yeah.
And then down to level 1 at the end because of your
Because of
shooting.
my
So he would have survived. But here, obviously, unfortunate to lose 400 points turn 1.
Yep. Now with KO, it always looks super good after your turn 1 shooting because you take out a big threat.
Yeah.
But the dwarves are very slow, A, and B, they don't have that much like saves. So when the thralls eventually get in and the reavers eventually get in, then my army's going to start to fall apart. I tried to mitigate that as much as possible by measuring 26 inches out, which is 8-inch move for the reavers and then 18-inch shooting. I couldn't do it for everybody, so you have a little bit of choices as to who you shoot, but I mitigate it as much as I can.
And that is the risk in this list. Again, I mentioned not taking the Soul Scryer. Losing the Deep Strike really hurts because not only am I cramped in deployment, it means I can't choose good targets. Here, if I was deep striking my 20 Reavers right now, I would feel way better about being able to take out like your Thunderers or something, right?
Yeah.
Right away. So the
much
turn 2 priority is a little scarier in this build.
The thing is, you do have much more potential on the double turn because the Smash Queen can just wreck anything in my army. That's why my Ironclad's as far away as possible, because I've seen her
the loadout
do so much damage. Yeah. So.
Yeah. That's it though. You killed 2 Reavers because all defense was +3 save, -1 hit. So the boat only killed 2 after my ward saves as well. Brought them back to the Soul Render.
Yeah.
So no
At that 24-inch range, you don't really expect too much. You potentially or typically want to just whittle down units as time goes on, but I can't do that because of the Morphan plus the Soul Render. So.
So yeah, it's all in the elves here. The Incarnate is not even lasting until my turn 1.
Yep.
So
I've had that happen.
Yeah, disappointing.
At Season of War GT.
Yeah.
But that was my own fault.
Yes. That's it though. I'd rather lose the Incarnate than my King. So we'll just jump into Idoneth Deepkin turn 1.
The Deepkin battle tactic is "This one's mine." The Soul Render uses Heroic Willpower, and the Admiral uses Heroic Recovery, healing 3 wounds. The Soul Render fails to dispel the Purple Sun of Shaiish. The Archilian King casts Flaming Weapon, but is unbound. The Reavers use all-out attack and deal 8 damage to the Thunderers. The Arcanauts use all-out defense, and the Reavers deal 6 damage to them. The Archilian King deals 2 mortal wounds to the Admiral on impact. The Admiral uses all-out defense. The Archilian King uses all-out attack and kills the Admiral. The Arcanauts use an Aether Gold for Indomitable, and 1 Thunderer flees. The Deepkin score 1 objective and completes their battle tactic for 3 points.
All right, so Deepkin turn 1. I pretty much just did what I could. You obviously, like you said, mitigated a bunch of my output and whatnot. Though, Reavers still got 20 out of 40 in shooting, and was able to do one. Killed 7 Thunderers with these guys over here, and then the 12 that were in range killed 4 of your Thunderers, and then 1 ran to Battle Shock.
Yeah. So cut the output in half.
Yeah.
That's very good.
I could have gone in with my cane and completely blown them up.
Yep.
A little more risky. I'm then, if you win Prio, I'm right in Purple Sun range. Incarnate's definitely getting in. Where now I still have chances to survive and whatnot.
For sure.
So yeah, that's all something to consider. And taking out your Navigator is huge because he could have been having my cane's movement.
Yeah.
And he would have been tied up in combat, where again, have different options now. Just jump my Reavers out onto the center objective, and again, just trying to move forward. This, I know, is actually not a great matchup here because I'm not a horrible one.
Slow.
But
yeah.
I'm slow here compared to the average Deepkin army, right? So you being able to dance around is tough, but hopefully...
It's keyword, dance.
Yeah.
People keep asking me why I keep saying dance. I was like, that's what Cable does, just dance around.
Yeah,
just
exactly. But
don't want to get caught, basically. So.
Yeah, you can't always store points all game, though, by just dancing around, so...
That's very fair.
That's the hope. And I did get to move the Purple Sun because it was wild now.
Yep.
And...
Put it in a threatening position.
Yeah, just got it out of the way. I tried to unbind it with a Heroic Willpower.
Might as well.
Exactly.
Just for the fact
try.
that next turn, whoever's turn it is gets to control it. If I win Prio, then it's still around, and it's very, very annoying.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And I have another attempt to unbind it.
Yep.
But if I win it, I can potentially try and throw it into somewhere.
-1 range.
Maybe take your Incarnate down in 1 turn as well.
Yeah, maybe I can try to eat it, and this time it succeeds.
That's true. Who knows?
Never know.
Yeah,
Well, actually, technically, it's not.
The dice could be very
Wizard.
gamey.
It's not a wizard, so.
Yeah. But yeah, into priority.
Yep.
So you're winning ties. That's a
1.
4. So got what I hoped for, which is priority.
Yep. I think you have to take it.
I would love to give it away. Your boat isn't going to kill much besides 10 Reavers.
Yep.
And your Thunderers are somewhat mitigated, but I want to get my Cane in an active.
Yeah, it does mean that.
It's
does mean that it opens you up to the double.
Yep. Bait for storing here, though. And I'll be able to, again, try to screen out a little bit. So I'm going to take the turn here.
For sure.
And we will go into Idoneth Deepkin, turn 2.
The Deepkin battle tactic is head-to-head. The Archelian King uses heroic leadership, which the Aether Chemist fails. The Archelian King casts Mystic Shield on himself. The Reavers kill the Arcanauts. The Reavers use all-out attack and deal 15 damage to the Incarnate. The Arcanauts use all-out defense and the Reavers deal 6 damage to them. The The gun hauler unleashes hell, using an Aether Gold, dealing 3 damage to the Reavers. The Archelian King deals 2 mortal wounds to the Thunderers on impact. The Archelian King uses the Lord of Tides on himself. The gun hauler deals 2 mortal wounds to the Reavers with its Bomb Rats. The Thunderers use all of defense. The Archelian King uses a lit attack, killing the gun hauler and dealing 2 damage to the Thunderers. The Reavers deal 3 damage to the Thunderers. 1 Thunderer and 3 Arcanauts flee from Battle Shock, and the Incarnate goes down a level. The Deepkin score 2 and more objectives and completes their battle tactic for 5 points.
All right, so Deepkin turn 2. Got the turn. I, again, was debating wanting to give it away in some capacity because I wasn't really getting like a running charge with my Thralls or anything. I could have sent them into your other Arcanauts. Maybe if I got really lucky, got into your boat, but that would be like, I needed a 10 plus to charge. It's not worth the risk. Maybe it would have been. But here, made actually a couple of minor mistakes. De-leveled the Incarnate, obviously, with the Reavers. I had planned to keep them out of combat, but then thinking before I charged, I'm like, or during my charge phase, I'm like, oh, I should charge them into Unleash Hell, and then they can help clean up the Arcanauts, the Thunderers, allowing me to put the King entirely into the boat. And that didn't, the errors, or the reasons that was an error, it sounds like there was a couple benefits to it. But I did, so a couple things. First, I had measured to keep the Soul Render, or them holding 18 in the Soul Render, brought them outside of that. I've lost 5 guys, so those guys aren't coming back, which really hurts. Also means I'm actually tagged in combat now because I didn't finish off the Thunderers. Could have allocated split better with the King. Really wanted to take down the boat though. So that's disappointing because it means I'm not going to Unleash Hell when you throw the Incarnate in. And that's pretty much, yeah, again, so kind of not played optimally over there, which isn't the best. Don't feel the best about that. The Reavers, again, took 5, so yeah, hurts there. Wish they had been able to, like, Unleash Hell when you charge in with the Incarnate, could have taken him down again. Yeah. So that was a bit of a misplay over there. If I had have killed the Thunderers, not the end of the world. Yeah. I'm just down 5 guys, but now I'm down 5 guys and can't Unleash Hell. So that's not great. And then Kane went in, yeah, did slap the boat, which again, that's mitigating a huge amount, from your output and maneuverability. Pretty secure on the center objective now, and yeah, that's pretty much everything now. Cutting into your output, cutting into your bodies.
This is what I said in the end of my turn recap, where it looks very, very good after an outset, where you scalpel off like a huge unit.
That's where.
But at this point, it's like you're running out of bodies. Yeah. Now, I could have been a little bit more smart in terms of putting the boat a little bit further back so that they weren't close to each other. But that means that the Thunderers are dead, and I would have a boat, which.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The fact that they survived is actually great. So I just have to play from this position.
Yep.
And whenever my opponent takes the turn and doubles me, that does mean in a later turn I do have the potential to double them. So.
Yes, sir. And yeah, that's pretty much everything though. So we will jump into Idoneth Deepkin, not Idoneth Deepkin.
KO turn 2?
Yes, sir.
The Kharadron battle tactic is outmuscle. The Admiral and Lotan both fail heroic leadership. The Archelian King fails to dispel the Purple Sun of Shyish. The Admiral casts Mystic Shield on the Ironclad. The Purple Sun slays the Archelian King. The Arcanauts deal 3 damage to the Reavers. The Thunderers deal 1 damage to the Reavers. The Ironclad use all-out attack and deals 10 damage to the Reavers. The Incarnate roars at the Reavers and eats them alive. The Kharadron score 1 objective and complete their battle tactic for 3 points.
So KO turn 2, I have to claw back some sort of board control because, like we said at the very beginning, you take up so much of the board in the beginning and it starts to kind of narrow down. Now, I didn't really get all that much out, but I did clear the bottom right objective from my perspective. Got lucky again with the sun.
Yeah.
I don't know why myself.
This is the impact it has, that like it can change games. Like those 2 1s are hugely game changing.
Yeah, hugely game changing. That's right.
Because otherwise the king is there.
Yeah, and
outside of combat.
I don't know if I'm able to kill him. And the thing
would
is,
it potentially even piled in and could have de-leveled the Incarnate, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not, but
or like
would have had a chance.
You have High Tide next turn, so he's gonna output his damage. So as of right now, the Incarnate's fairly safe from reprisal. You have to put in, I think, the shooting elements that you have, which means it protects the rest of my army from it. But I think I'm in a semi good spot. The 30 thralls is really dicey to try to take out, but I still have the secret weapon, which is the Admiral, removing ward saves. I was potentially going to deploy against the 20 Reavers, didn't need it, but it was incredibly gambling. KO is like very on the knife's edge. It's
all about target allocation.
And
splitting when you use your gold and
Yeah, I didn't end up using it because I'm starting to run out of units to use gold. So at this point, I have to conserve a little bit, and you have some counterplay in terms of that. But we'll see. The priority roll is really big. Again, at any point, if you double closer to from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3, then you have a very, very good spot with KO. But you still have quite a bit in the middle there.
Here, you killed 3 of these guys in the middle.
You bring back 3.
Brought them all back.
Yeah, very, very easy. All right, so I guess with that, it's just all about priority roll.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we'll see if it betrays
4.
me this time too.
Okay.
I'm slowly improving from 1 to 2.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, should take it here. We'll jump into Idoneth Deepkin, turn 3.
High Tide.
The Deepkin battle tactic is Assassins of the High Tide. Lotan and the Chemist both use heroic leadership. The Thunderers rally, returning 1 model. The Admiral dispels the Purple Sun of Shaiish. The Reavers finish off the Thunderers. The Arcanauts use all-out defense. The Reavers use all-out attack and deal 6 damage to the Arcanauts. The Thralls use Forge to Victory and make their charge and kill the Arcanauts. The Deepkin score 1 objective and complete their battle tactic for 3 points.
All right, so Deepkin turn 3 again. Just don't have the speed to really get into the stuff I want to get into. The downside again of this kind of list, it really makes me question the trade of the king for the
Now
Soul Render.
didn't really see the. Well, the king did kill.
I mean, no, not the like trading on the table, but like in my list. But regardless, I did Assassins of the High Tide. So here I went for the, strategy of just trying to kill your storing units, reduce what you're able to do. Unfortunately, I killed 6 of these guys. 4 were about to run in battle shock. You get to re-roll it from your subfaction.
Yeah, I was like, I'll roll 2 dice and try to roll less than the 4 every single time.
So only 1 ran, so you keep that, which is bait because I don't get hold more, so I only get 3 points here.
Yep.
And yeah.
Puts me in a very good spot, I think, in terms of scoring.
Yeah, you redeploy your Incarnate onto the objective.
Yep.
I could have potentially stayed outside of 9, so that was my own mistake. But it is what it is, and we'll jump into KO turn 3. Pew pew!
The Kharadron battle tactic is barge through enemy lines. The Admiral and Lotan both use heroic leadership. The Admiral fails to cast the Purple Sun of Shyish. The Arcanauts deal 2 damage to the Reavers. The Ironclad use outlet attack and kill the Reavers. The Kharadron score 2 and more objectives and completes their battle tactic for 5 points.
So KO turn 3. So have to just slowly take the board back from you. Now the fact that I still own that objective.
Yes.
Right? Because it's 9, means that I score more, and so I didn't really want to overextend myself too much. I'm trying to do the exact same thing you're trying to do to me, which is limit your scoring units. Now, the 30 thralls, when I played Olivier at the Season of War Grand Tournament, it was very, very eye-opening in terms of trying to take down 30 bodies. He had 30 Reavers, which is the same tankiness as the 30 Reavers.
30 thralls.
The 30 thralls is the same tankiness as 30 Reavers. And now my mistake was going into them too early, leaving stuff that could score, and that one block is very, very scary, but it is only 1 unit, and you have to now, since he's in the middle and I have scoring units on either end, I have to choose one way or the other. And I still have my boat who's alive, who can potentially shore up the other side that you don't go in. So that's what we mean about dancing around with KO. Those of you in the Discord always hear me just type in song lyrics. I'm mentally having dance songs in my head, just so that I remind myself not to get too aggressive, because that's when if that 30 thrall unit catches the boat, it's over. Like that unit, that thing, even 18 wounds and a 2-up save will lift pretty quickly. I've had so much experiences with that, playing this specific match.
10 thralls we've had kill the boat before.
Exactly. So you just pretend like it's a baby and you don't want it to be caught by a predator. So doing pretty good. If I win priority, I think I can limit your scoring even more and keep those 30 thralls untouched, but just make it a hard decision for you to go one way or the other. If I lose priority now, you could potentially catch me with the thralls.
Let's jump into it.
You never win prios, but we'll see.
2?
4?
Yeah, you got it.
I'll go ahead and take it.
Sounds good. So we'll jump into KO
turn 4.
The Kharadron battle tactic is desecrate their lands. The Admiral fails heroic leadership, and the Soul Render uses their finest hour. The Admiral fails to cast Flaming Weapon. The thralls redeploy, moving 6 inches. The Arcanauts use an Aether Gold for Inspired and deal 1 damage to the Reavers. The Ironclad use All-Out Attack and kill the Reavers. The Incarnate stomps, dealing 1 mortal wound to the Soul Render. The Admiral kills Lotan. The Thralls deals 10 damage to the Incarnate. The Soul Render uses All-Out Defense. The Incarnate uses All-Out Attack and deals 3 damage to the Soul Render. The Soul Render deals 6 damage to the Incarnate and slays the Admiral with the Hangman's Knot. The Incarnate goes down its final level and is destroyed. The Kharadron scored 2 and more objectives and completes their battle tactic for 5 points.
The Incarnate and the Admiral both died, so kind of the wrong choice. I was thinking whether or not I wanted to throw them in, because then they're just threats here, and then like I was saying before, I was going to try to split you, but it was too good an ability to pass up. Now when you redeployed and rolled a 6, I should have just left it alone.
There, not gone in.
Yeah, or would have just gone with the Admiral, then killed Lotan, so that you don't have the +1 in wound, and then the Incarnate's here just ready to rumble at any point. But again, got too overzealous. With that being said, because of where I am in terms of points, I think it wasn't that bad of a play. There's still, you know, opportunities for me to dance around with the Ironclad. Now, if the Incarnate had survived,
yeah, not much different position, but
yeah,
the fact that they both went down in your turn actually
is pretty big. But it does mean you only have 2 units left now, so very, very difficult for you to claw back the amount of points necessary to perhaps win the game here.
Never know, a priority back could be big.
Most definitely.
But we'll go into it does. So you still hold that objective, which is a big thing.
Yep. So
I was hoping actually you were to kill a couple of Thralls and I would be able to pile in and then recur guys onto it.
I was aware of it. That's why I wanted to kill both your heroes, and then at that point you're bleeding CP, and then could potentially just make a massive battle shock. I didn't deploy the 2-up ward at any point in the game because I
haven't had a need necessarily.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Just with your target allocation.
Yeah.
But that's it for your turn, and we'll jump into Idoneth Deepkin turn 4.
The Deepkin battle tactic is against the odds. The Soul Render fails heroic leadership, but the Aether Chemist succeeds. The Aether Chemist redeploys, moving 5 inches. Deepkin scored 2 and more objective and complete their battle tactic for 5 points.
Quick turn. All right, yeah, for Deepkin, pretty much just obviously trying to win the game. Didn't really actually expect or plan to charge, notably. Maybe if I got something like, even with a 12, maybe with a 12, it would have been worth going into your boat. But even questionable there, maybe. I was potentially going to springboard off your little hero.
Yep.
Wouldn't have really mattered. But the big thing was, I was setting up for the double. Here, I pretty much have to take down the boat, because if I leave it, yeah, maybe not. You can relocate, but right now I'm not in the middle. So maybe if I had have put my Soul Render in the middle, it wouldn't have been as big of a deal to lose priority here. But I was setting up basically all my eggs in the basket of winning priority.
Yep.
Would let me go in, kill your boat, do a lot of stuff, potentially take the objective and still clinch the game. There's a chance, and I thought about running in to get closer, I didn't get the CP, and then even in, like, I'm going to be in charge range anyways, no matter what.
Pretty much.
Regardless if I ran last turn or not, if on the double.
Yep.
Just wanted to move again, so wasn't really worth it. So that's pretty much it. I do take that objective, get hold 1-2 more. 5 points, putting me only down 2 here. And that's...
Yeah, have to win the prio.
Basically it, yeah.
Which is dicey, but you put yourself in this position.
Yep. Let's do it.
Yep.
That's a 2.
That's a 4.
All right.
I think that seals the game. I think. I could make a mistake though. I don't have very good battle tactics currently.
Well, why don't we just jump into it, Carl?
Sure.
It's gonna be quick to roll out,
Sure.
so we'll
No
see.
problem.
It's gonna be if you can take down the king, or my soul render. Sorry, because if not, that's my last hope. But we will jump into Idoneth Deepkin. What turn?
No,
is it?
KO turn 5.
KO turn 5. Keep saying that.
The Kharadron battle tactic is gaining momentum. The Chemist uses heroic leadership, and the Soul Render fails heroic recovery. The Thralls redeploy, moving 4 inches. The Soul Render uses all of defense, but the Ironclad takes him out. The Kharadron scored 2 and more objectives and completes their battle tactic for 5 points.
Okie doke. So KO turn 5. I just had to complete my battle tactic to basically seal the game.
Yeah.
Now I didn't, make a little bit of a risk in terms of not having my chemist inside. But like we said previously, I want to split you and pull your attention multiple ways. So in this case, the bolt had to go by itself. And he was able to kill him. So I scored 1-2 more in my battle tactic, which I think
that's
puts it
really
away.
what it all came down to.
Yeah,
was
it's the battle tactic.
The soul render.
Yeah.
So if he survived, he also denies the objective.
Yeah, so that would be a 3-point swing there. So very big.
4 because you wouldn't have gotten hold more. So battle tactic.
Yeah, 4.
and 1, 2
Yeah, I
more.
would only score 1 point.
Yeah.
But I think that
it was reliable.
Yeah.
And you know what? Actually, with a heroic recovery, I failed it.
Yeah.
But that, if I had gotten 3, there was an
dice
outside
chance.
because
Yeah,
I was on a
yeah.
3-up save.
Yep.
Even after the rend. So.
Yep, for sure.
And a 5-up ward. It's
dicey.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility.
No, it's not. But like you have to take those chances as KO.
Yeah.
You can't
Well, here
have
at this point, yeah.
this is a dice game, right? It doesn't. There's no guarantees, and so I had to play this way, and it kind of worked out for me in the end. So.
Yeah, definitely. So in you did 5 points in your turn. Just to talk out my turn, what possibilities I would do now. I went for redeploy to try and potentially get Lookout Sir there to help my Soul Render survive. Again, that would have, if he survived, that probably would have just won me the game. Didn't work, so I didn't get far enough, so I just kind of repositioned over here. Basically at this point, I'm just going to try to maximize points, so I'm just talking it through quickly. I have a 6-inch move, and then a charge. So what do I need? Let's see. So I need a charge of a 4 or a 5 to be able to put 7 bodies on this objective and take it from you. That's a fail. So, well, I mean, I rolled a 3. So here I actually wouldn't get on there. Would get into the hero, pile in,
kills him,
most likely
which
kill
gives
him.
you your grand strat.
Grand strategy. I believe the Namardi killing something, kill hero or monster, would have taken that battle tactic.
All right.
Assuming I remember it correctly. So I would get 3 points here at the end.
Yep.
On the final turn, and 3 points for my grand strategy as well. But it was a bloody game.
Yeah. This is how it is with KO, right? It's like you jump out so far ahead. You feel like everything is lined up for you, and you ride this sense of confidence going into turn 2, but you have to know how to pull yourself back from that excitement of killing so many things on turn 1, because as you can see, I got lucky with the Purple Sun de-leveling the Incarnate and then killing him. Yeah. Then in the subsequent turn, killing the King, because that meant that it's not output that I'm throwing at.
The Sun, for 60 points, killed 2 of my 3 hammers.
Yep. You know, you have to gamble as KO, and so when you have the Purple Sun, it just allows you to gamble even more, and just allows you to unlock so much opportunities to just hero phase move with Zilfin, deploy the Sun, and then if it doesn't happen, then you just fade backwards with the fly high and then shoot from further. Now with Deepkin and especially Morphan builds, what I find is you want to be outputting from range, but you're only doing 6 to 8 damage per turn with the Ironclad from the 24-inch range. But 6 to 8 doesn't matter to your Namarti.
Yeah.
You just bring them back, and so you have to play this even more gambling play style. But if you're playing KO and your Ironclad is alive turn 4, turn 5, you're in a good spot. Because it's the one thing in your army that can fly around, output from range, and potentially score points at the very, very end of the game. If I was to lose it, if you were to double me,
won that prio,
you lost it, I would lose the game. Right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But at a certain point, you have to put it in danger, because, you know, just jumping around, like you were saying in one of the prior turn recaps, is you can only dance around so much, but you want to lengthen that period as much as you can.
Yep, for sure. And yeah, I mean, KO will win by a couple points, pull ahead probably 4 points, I think.
Yeah.
So close game, but yeah, it really showed even like, for having lost this stuff to the Sun, talked about that in a moment.
Yeah.
Even those last couple turns, I think I was still in it.
Yep.
Well, even, round 5, obviously.
Yep.
But even like that, I think I won the first 2 prios. So going into 4 or 5. Now, fortunate to win the first 2. If I had have gotten the 4th, even would have let me kill those guys, let alone, with them having survived.
Yep.
Taking them out, denying the points.
Yep.
I think,
Actually would have also denied my grand strategy, because I had to use their gold at that specific instance, at that specific time.
Yeah.
The grand strategy is incredibly hard, and you have to plan.
I wouldn't say incredibly hard.
It's incredibly hard. There are so many opportunities.
It takes planning, but your opponent, it's a hard one to deny.
Yeah, yes and no.
Because you can save, shooting, right? You can shoot something round 5, and this is spending the gold every turn, every round.
The fact that I have to have none at the end means that if I didn't spend it on this instance instance of time, and you just faded backwards.
And he doesn't have gold?
He already spent it on the first turn.
Oh, on the Thunderers.
On the reroll Rune Rolls 1 and the Thunderers. So I spent it in that instance in the first turn.
I forgot the can't have any remaining.
Can't have anything
that
remaining,
things,
yeah. So you have to forward plan. Now, just KO specific, I know a lot of people have asked me questions on Twitter and on the Discord about take what's theirs. In this instance, if I had takes what's theirs, I wouldn't score it. Yep. And I would lose.
You still win by 1, I think.
Yeah, but
but yes.
I actually wouldn't even. Yeah, no, yeah.
Well, you would give up the grand strategy for the potential 5 points in the final turn, which would put you ahead.
Correct.
So.
But in tournaments, if you read the pack and it's grand strategy first, which.
A lot
of tournaments are not doing nowadays.
Well, hopefully less and less.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of janky just with the disparity of armies with battle tactics and grand strats.
Yeah.
But yeah, so good. I good game in the end. Yeah. I knew getting onto the objectives and kind of trying to just hold the points when you're dancing around outside was the best bet.
Yeah.
Again. Fuck the Purple Sun. Right? As someone who enjoys the generalmanship of tight games and playing with that, and I was still in it here regardless, but it's just it
just ruins all plans.
It's just such a dumb addition to the game.
Yep.
From a balance standpoint.
60 points first of all.
Here it in 2 turns killed 650 points, arguably. Now, you still had to put other stuff into that, but that's no problem.
No.
Arguably took down 650 points. Yep. Again, maybe only de-leveling that because of the -1 to rend as well.
Yep.
So the fact that everyone's talked about it. It was in at the Season War GT. 25 out of 65 players had it, so nearly a half.
Yeah.
It's just that's just dumb. I hate stuff like that. And you know what? Like, we had a great game here regardless, but it's just like makes for a real bad experience at times.
Yep, for sure. But before they change it, you see the impact that it can have.
Oh yeah,
and you just take it as much as you can
and like the Incarnate,
leverage it.
Those pieces, hey, they're in the game. Yeah. It's, I'm never going to be upset with Carl or someone for running it. It's not Carl's responsibility to police, the rules of the game. So that's something we hope to see in an update, obviously, from Games Workshop.
And even the Incarnate
stuff like the Purple Sun is just so janky.
With both of you using it, I struggle to find lists currently without the Incarnate.
In KO, there are armies.
Not just KO. I would say like 80% of armies.
I think that's a bit of a stretch, but I think there's a bottom chunk for sure that the Incarnate definitely takes them a step up. So like I that's a good aspect of it. The Incarnate, I'm like, there is play around it. I'm not. Yeah. It's the Purple Sun is just so
died over
janky.
Here.
It's
just on my turn by complete misplay from myself. But it is a melee beast. It doesn't shoot. So there is counterplay to it. It's a big base. But the fact that you could just roll, like any of those opportunities, if I rolled a 15, a 16, a 17, or an 18, like you threw so much into it and it just removes all that effort that you did.
A roll like that is literally game changing.
Yep.
So again, not necessarily the most
balanced of things.
Fun thing, but
I have lost, so I mean it's not unbeatable. Like,
no, definitely
there's
not.
a lot of people who throw words like that around. There are counterplays to both the Purple Sun and 100%. The Incarnate.
It's just the Purple Sun especially is like
it warps a lot.
Big feels bad. Like,
when I played Bill at Summer Slaughter, it didn't do anything.
The Purple Sun?
Yeah.
Well, it didn't eat anything. It gave you an extra rend to a lot of stuff
for one turn. And then afterwards.
So if you only had it for one turn, yes.
Yeah, because of Wild. With KO, the Purple Sun is a little bit more tolerable. Just because it's Wild and your opponent can move it on their turn.
There's a little more counterplay.
Correct. So you have to be careful with the double nice edge that is the Purple Sun, because it has bitten me in the past before where it ate my Ironclad, my own Purple Sun.
Yeah, for being too close.
And that changed the game. So I hope they just change it. If they remove the one sleigh and just leave it as the -1, it's still a very, very good bargain at 60 points.
That's what people take it for, realistically.
Yeah.
The one killing stuff on a 1 is just a bonus. Dumb extra bonus, right?
Yeah. That's why I gamble, right? I just go, I throw it in. If it does its thing, it does its thing. If not, not. So.
I mean, also didn't help that on 3 unbind attempts, I failed to unbind it.
Yeah, it's difficult to unbind.
You rolled the ones at critical moments, so that doesn't happen every game or super often, but it can be really annoying when it does.
Change games, for sure. For sure.
Cool. Well, I think that's pretty much it. Again, under the circumstances, all right showing for Deepkin. I mean, close game in the end. The Marty party had some fun, and obviously win here for KO. Again, showing the strength of all those pieces, how they complement KO, help with the extra rend.
Yep.
Give you a tanky melee piece to throw in there and screen with.
Yep. And the changes, I didn't deploy the 2+ no ward, but it did mean that the threat of it becoming online at a certain point meant that you had to play a little bit more conservative. So it's very good.
Yep.
Too. Just a glow up overall for KO, which I enjoy so much. They're my favorite.
Yep. Great army. But otherwise, we can wrap things up here. Hope you guys enjoyed this match. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit all the buttons, and join our membership if you enjoy our content. Regardless, we'll see you soon in another battle report.
Bye.